Hi everyone, welcome to the Sunday Social Casual Watch Talk. We should have an interesting show. We've got top 10 gifts for watch collectors. There's more than 10, but I'm feeding the algorithm, sprinkling a little bit of that seasoning on the algorithm to try and get a boost up there. So thanks for joining us. We've got nearly a full panel, but we're kindly joined again by Colby. Thanks for joining us. You're in the hot seat. What wristwatch are you wearing?
Well, I have my Christopher Ward Belcanto on.
Very nice.
Very nice.
That I got a few months ago, and I'm really enjoying it.
Nice. Oh, awesome! Do you know what? I'm going to swap. I think we might do the trifecta here. Yes, the what did you think of the new Belcanto that came out? Have you seen one yet?
Not in person. I really like it. I've mixed. I think the I don't prefer the guichet on the dial, but I really prefer the Roman numerals on the around the outside.
Yeah, Mark's that's you've got a cross in Mark's book now.
People can like what they like, as long as I don't have to wear Roman numerals. I'm good. But they came out with one special edition that had the Arabic numerals. So rather than what we think of as Arabics, but they had the Middle Eastern numerals on it with a red dial. It was spectacular. It's a special edition launched recently. That's spectacular.
Yeah, awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. Dave, what are you wearing?
I'm not wearing anything, but I've got micro rotor tourbillon here. So
yeah, beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
That's my signature orange movement that I convinced the watchmakers to do. So yeah,
I love that salmon dial you had last week, Dave. That was gorgeous.
Oh yeah. There's a salmon version of it. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thomas, what are you wearing?
I got my Tudor P01.
Oh,
nice. Quality watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really like this song.
It suitably upsets people, which is excellent.
I actually like that one.
I like it as well. They've killed it now, haven't they, Tudor? Yeah.
Have they?
Mm-hmm. It died a bit. Oh, they killed it. I think they killed it about a year ago.
Right.
Awesome. Mark, what are you wearing?
I have my Christopher Ward C60 Limpston. So this is the forged carbon dial with the brushed case and bracelet, and then I believe it's the Royal Marines in Limpston. Can't quite see the Royal Marine insignia on the back. Very nice watch.
Awesome.
A slightly older design, but definitely a great watch. It's got superb loom too.
There's somebody that's absolutely ripped that off, made like a fake of that watch. And I asked Christopher Ward if they wanted me to do a comparison, and they said, "Well, you can do what you want, but don't, we'll send you one." But I decided not to do it in the end because it's still promoting it, isn't it? Regardless. Okay, well, I'll wear a Christopher Ward as well. So I had one on my desk. This is the Elite 1000. This is my much loved. I think this is the last. It's just a great dive watch that nobody ever talks about that Christopher Ward released. Kosk, day and date. 1,000 meters and titanium as well. So I wore this the other day because I was interviewing Will at Christopher Ward, which that'll be coming out next week.
Yeah. Because Sam, there's nowhere you need to know the day and date like at 1,000 meters down, is there?
Hey, I love it for having the day and day. I thought the Lumiere was the natural successor to this, but the Lumiere is actually addition to this. But yeah,
I was going to say it looks a bit like the Lumiere, that one.
Yeah,
I think the lineage is obvious, but the Lumiere's got a much more developed case. The Lumiere case is excellent.
Excellent, cool. Okay, so we've spent at least 2 minutes on Christopher Ward, so we've hit our quota for the Christopher Ward talk.
That check will be in the post.
Yes, the notepad that I got that time.
Maybe 2 minutes. Maybe only gets you a second class stamp though, so you'll see it in about 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, let's dive into a bit of holiday cheer, a bit of Festivus cheer. and let's talk about gifts for. Well, we were going to say like gifts for watch collectors, but really, it's I guess nobody's really going to buy. Nobody who buys gifts for a watch collector is going to probably watch this, so this will be like cheeky gifts you can buy yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because that's one of the rules of watch collecting, isn't there? There's like a couple of things that you get to know when you watch collecting. One is that nobody, unless they also like watches, ever notices you watch, and the other one is that nobody can ever buy you a watch related present because everybody's taste is so particular, and also watches it.
It's also an excellent time of year to buy things for yourself on Amazon because you just claim that they're Christmas gifts being delivered.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Unless your wife has got an excellent memory and counted the boxes.
Yeah.
You just claim you returned a lot of stuff.
Hey, Amazon's cracking down on people returning stuff now. There's a couple of people that they're getting put on the naughty list by Santa Bezos. Okay, let's start with I tell you what, let's Mark, let's start with one of yours. So you went down a different angle with this. You went down the watch photography angle.
Yeah, watch photography is, clearly the heart of Instagram, the heart of a lot of people's enthusiasm. So I went down the how to make your iPhone photography a little bit better. And this foam board was one of the things that Atom Moore, who is a very, very good watch photographer, always recommends. It's a cheap way of diffusing light, cheap way of eliminating shadows, and you can buy it anywhere. You can build your own light box out of foam core if you really want to. So a 5-pack of foam core to help your iPhone photography, to help if you've got a better camera. Again, it's very, very useful. So yeah, a cheap pack of foam core to help your iPhone photography. And that's kind of the theme I was going through. So Amazon, wherever, buy foam core. I use it myself to shift light around. Tricky to say, but yeah, foam core, ideal.
When you said shift life, I thought you'd gone full Day of the Jackal on us.
There are days when it's tempting.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
funny,
it probably
like
also make a good suppressor as well, to be fair. So yeah, it's dual use.
Oh, the foam core, yeah. The when I first started out, I did use the thing that the kids use for the science projects. It's like foam core, isn't it? But it kind of opens out in like a big
like a poster board, yeah.
Yeah, big poster board, yeah. That was
that's another good one.
Yeah, I did use that for I used that for quite a while actually. But maybe I should get some more. But good choice there. Let's Pete can't join us. Pete was going to join us and play Scrooge, but unfortunately he didn't join us. So, but he did send us this, which I don't know if we've got any thoughts or feelings on this.
Oh, I need one of those.
Yeah. Maybe it's yeah. I don't think I mean I would get one, but I don't work in an office anymore. So. I'd be chuckling away to myself.
We need to send one of those to Ricky, I think.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, let's go to Dave. Your first one was I don't know if I understand this.
How many times, if you've got a manual winding watch, do your fingers get sore, especially if it's a Speedmaster and it decides to eat your fingers every time you try and wind it up? These are the best things in the world. So this is the basic one. It's like a manual one. It's like a little silicon tip on it, and you just hold it against the crown and you turn it to wind your watch up.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if I knew that even existed. That was even a thing.
Well, that's the, as you can see there, that's the classic Swiss tax. You pay here, have a small piece of plastic with a bit of rubber in the end, and you can pay £50 for it, and you can wind your watch up. Alternatively, they do one that's battery powered, that's also torque loaded, and it's a mere £700, so that you can wind your manual winding watch up using a little. You push it, and as you push it, it winds it up, and it stops the torque when it feels the springs fully loaded, which is very cool. But yeah, I think that's maybe a bit of an excessive ask.
So, Yeah, because when you first sent this over, I thought it was one of those things for separating the crown and the stem, like a watchmaker's tool.
That's just really they actually, when you get used to them, they work really well. The watchmakers use them a lot when the movements are in like their cases and they're building movements, because they're obviously winding them all the time, so they can just wind them with the stick. But yeah, they're really good.
They do take a bit of practice to use, though. I've got one, and sometimes I just find it easier to wind the watches by hand. But I don't have to wind them every day.
You got to remember, you buy all the little different tips for them to make the different sizes of crowns, because they're that geeky. But yes,
yeah,
maybe that's why mine doesn't work very well.
Yeah, they're really good for certain watches. Like Speedmaster's a notorious pain in the backside for winding up, because the crown's quite close into the case, and the crown guards do tend to get in the road. But yeah, it does work.
Well, that's the best piece of advice for Speedmaster ownership, isn't it? Turn the watch over to wind it.
Exactly.
It does make life a lot easier.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard one of those. But is it ratcheted or?
No, that one's just like a little. It's just like a little silicon teat on the end, almost, for want of a better phrase, and it kind of sucks over the crown and holds it, and then you just turn it. But the torque loaded one, it's a winner, because it's like you stick it on, and as you push it, it just starts to wind it itself, and you hold it still. And I mean
playing like innuendo bingo.
That's 700 quid is well worth it, so you don't even need to turn your wrist as you're winding your watch up.
It strikes me that that's a. It seems like it's a solution to a problem that nobody really had. Is it really useful?
To be honest, I actually quite like it. I find them quite useful, yeah. But then I do wind up a lot of watches, I have to say. But as I say, yeah, I think they're pretty good.
Oh,
cool.
Okay. It stops you putting load on it, because a lot of folk, when they wind watches, they push down on the crown and push their finger, so you bend the stem. Most folk don't actually hold it the top and bottom and wind it. So with that one, you put a uniform load on the crown, so it does reduce wear and tear ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, there is some watches where the crown is a right pain as well, isn't it? Like
Speedmasters.
Yeah. Also, Christopher Ward, the recessed crown on the I forget the name of it, but yeah. Okay, so right, so we've had an innuendo for each one. Now, Thomas, what's your innuendo for this?
Oh well, there we go. That's it.
Moving swiftly on.
Watch protection cleaning kit. So if you've got a watch which isn't washable under the tap and hot and soapy water, you got an expensive watch, a gold watch, or one that's on a strap, or something like a Belcanto maybe. There's this watch cleaning package, 50 quid. It's a lot of money, £45. It comes with a little brush, fluid, a little cloth, and a few other things, I think.
Well, hang on, sorry. I can hear somebody typing out a comment tomorrow about how you shouldn't put any detergent on your watches because it'll rot the seals. So just give them 1 second. They're finished. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, that's probably true. The watchmakers.
I'm still typing. Stop, calm down. I'm still typing.
It's back to troll Back to the Future.
Watchmakers will say that, yeah, but hey, it's been marketed, so I guess it's.
So have you buffed your piece with this before, or?
I've never used it. No, never used it. I just saw it and I thought, wow, that I guess that could be a gift you could give to a watch nerd.
Oh, well, there you go.
Transform your watch with our revolutionary watch cleanser. It says.
But don't forget, you can only use it on Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Omega. You're going to have to find an entirely different solution for your Audemars Piguet.
There we go. Boracic Time did it in real time. He typed out the comment in real time.
Well done, sir.
You'll rot the gaskets. You'll rot the gaskets. Think of the gaskets.
I love folk that get hyper stressed about stuff like that, and then they probably pour about 700 litres of perfume or aftershave on their wrists and then wear their watch, because that'll definitely not damage the gaskets.
Yeah. And there's suntan lotion as well with my skin in Florida. Excellent. Any more, hey guys? Actually, also, if you've got any suggestions in the comments for gifts for watch collectors, definitely let us know. Awesome. Okay, so let's go up to. Okay, I've got one. Actually, Colby, did you? I know you very kindly stepped in with Pete, who couldn't join us last minute. But did you have any ideas for Christmas gifts?
I do. I have a few. My first idea that I'll recommend is if you have any watch enthusiasts that are readers in your life, there are some good books about watches. So one that I'll recommend, now I just heard reviews of this. I just got it. I haven't read it yet, is the book Longitude. And Longitude is, if you don't know, it's about the development of the first marine grade chronometer. And so I just got it. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard really good things about it. And then I wanted to throw a curveball in there. If you're interested in time from a philosophical angle, it's something I've done some reading about. There's a great book called A History of the Philosophy of Time. It's a play on Stephen Hawking's famous book about black holes and stuff. And it goes into like the A theory of time and the B theory of time, presentism versus eternalism. And it's an interesting approach if you've ever asked yourself, what actually is time?
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, I don't know whether, God, it was one of those books, isn't it? You don't know whether to read or not, whether to start questioning the very existence, the fabric of life.
I've got some good recommendations book-wise. That one, Chasing Time, is a great one about vintage chronographs. And
well, let me do your solo.
And also the wristwatch handbook by
don't give him any airtime.
Ryan Schmidt.
He doesn't need any more airtime. Just stop it. No, we don't need to give Ryan any airtime.
I'm moving off solo.
Okay.
You've been overruled.
Sorry, Dave. We love you too, Ryan. We love Ryan, really.
Okay,
you'll never tell from the podcast. Remember, I do listen to the podcast.
No, he's actually coming over here in January because he's writing a new book. It is a very good book. It's probably one of the best books for people that want to just get a basic, a plain English and understanding of books without being drowned in language.
Awesome, cool. Okay, so next up, this is I did a sort of a pick. So Adrian at Bark and Jack released a box. A Pelican box kind of thing where it had his logo on it, but the company themselves also sell a similar box. So if you missed out on that Bark and Jack one, they do a similar one, but it's coming in at $180 this. And if I thought a little top tip for this, if you are looking for one of these Pelican type boxes to keep your watches in, just search on eBay for Invicta watch box, because invariably somebody got one of these with their Invictas and then they tried to sell it, because you can use brasso or like a silver polish to actually get the branding off it if you don't want the watch. But look at that, $30 for an 8-slot watch box.
Case, yeah.
How many Invictas can you buy for $30, I wonder?
Well, yeah, whatever one you buy, you'll get 7 free with it, so it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the case they use. They bring it out and it's like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And I like Robert Coleman's comment.
No, yeah, exactly. Nobody would steal them either. Exactly. You just, some pups would see it in your house and they're like, oh no, we'll just leave those.
Yeah. You can get the G-Shock ones as well. G-Shock for a few years were giving away actual real Pele cases that held either 3 or 6 watches when you bought a watch from them, and they were absolutely banging.
Oh, that'd be so good. I'd love a G. Yeah, I'd love
and
a
they're properly branded up G-Shock and everything, but they're real Pele cases that were given away when you spent about $300 with them.
Oh, cool. Okay, we've gone full circle. We're back with Mark's theme of watch photography.
Small LED lights, always a good idea. I've used New Ear lights for a long time, so personal recommendation on the brand. Get a little one and some foam core, and for macro stuff, you're set up. So I can recommend New Ear. I do use them myself, and if you're lucky and you shop around, I managed to buy 2 studio lights, diffusion boxes, tripods, and so on for less than $100. So you will find incredible bargains. And it sounds crazy, but the lights are very good. A light like this, if you're using a better camera, you can tune the color temperature of the light and have that match the color temperature that your camera is looking at, which takes out a workflow step in processing as well. So, but a little light like this, whether it's powered by a battery, and most of these seem to have Sony type batteries in them, so Sony camera batteries in them. So it's a great thing to have. It's on a little stand, you can move them around. So yep, a small LED light panel is definitely a good idea if you want to move your watch photography on to the next step.
Yeah, I think those newer things are really good. If you like, if they're not too expensive. I think for a little bit more, the small rig ones are banging as well. They're really, they're just a little bit higher quality and things like that, but they're not that much more expensive either. They're super good as well.
Yeah, all my lights, this one above, this one off to the side, the one by my camera here, they're all newer ones. So I can vouch for them. Okay, so let's go. We'll go. Dave, we're back round to you. This is, I think it's this.
I can't remember.
This loop.
Oh, yeah, this was something I picked up this year actually. So this is a French company that have started doing these. So normally the problem with a lot of the loupes is they're pretty small. They're, you have to have them right up at your eye to use them. This is much bigger. It's like a solid lump of aluminium with a good solid 6x loop on it. But they also have, if you buy it as a kit, it's got a clip-on light accessory that goes on the end. So you take kind of like the rubber donut at the end off. It just kind of screws off. And then a light clicks into place. You see it here. And the light that it screws into is both an LED light, but also a UV light as well. So you can use it for looking at it under I think, and it comes in a little travel case. It is quite expensive. I think it's about €350 for the full kit. But compared to a lot of the high-end like loop system stuff, which is even more expensive, to be honest, this is a really handy little thing. It comes in like a little travel donut, so you can stick it in your bag or stick it in your pocket, and the quality of them is excellent. The other good thing is you can take it apart and clean the glass and the lenses both sides, and you can fully clean it and put it back together. Really nicely made, really nicely put together. A French guy, so it's €250 just for the loop, and I think it's about €100 for the LED and IR light attachment that goes on it. But yeah, I've kind of bit the bullet. I thought it's a bit expensive, but it's been excellent. Very, very good.
Yeah, because 6x magnification is quite a lot, isn't it? I think I've got a 4x macro lens, and you have to.
A lot of the loupes you buy typically are 2.5. Some of them are 3. You can get sometimes 4s, but as I say, you typically have to have them right up at your eye, and you have to be in close to them. This one, you can do that, but it's an excellent little bit of kit. I have to say, like, those things where you think, oh, that's a wee bit pricey, but when I got it, I thought it's super well made, really nicely packaged, and the light attachment is excellent because you've also got you've got a UV torch with you as well, so you can test the lume and all that kind of stuff. But you can charge the lume up and keep it charged whilst you're actually looking at it through the loop, which is quite clever.
Yeah, that is really good. I mean, the only risk here is a 6x magnification is I can't imagine a lot of watches at that look 100% pristine.
Yeah, let's just say you'll find things that you probably didn't want to know were there.
Exactly. Cool. That was a great one. Expensive, but it was a good one. Colby, did you have another one?
Yeah, well, I'll be a little bit boring here, a little bit obvious, and I'll say watch straps. And I have 2 companies that I'll call out. One is my favorite strap maker, which is Haveston straps. They're based out of the UK, and they have a lot of like World War II military inspired designs. They also have the best, in my opinion, the best single pass NATO straps in the business. Okay. And I bought a number of products from them, and the owner is a great guy too.
You can get them in. You can get them on Holborns, which I buy loads of watch straps from Holborns. I think they're great.
And the other one that I want to shout out that not many people talk about is Christopher Ward. Okay, I think they make. I'm sorry, I think they make. Seriously, I've handled watch straps from a lot of the biggest, the best manufacturers. They make some of the best leather straps in the business, or they not make them, but they sell some of the best leather straps in the business. Like the strap that came with my Belcanto it's probably my favorite leather strap that I own.
Yeah, I bought some aftermarket ones. I've got one of the ones that they make out of the ocean plastic, the bottles, the weaved ones. They're really cool. They do good.
Those are really good too.
Yeah, they include a lot of them in the sales as well, don't they? When they do their sort of twice yearly sale, their sort of sample sale or whatever.
They have 3 for 2 straps going on right now too. So
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Plugging away with Christopher Ward, plugging away. Okay, and then great pick there. So let me jump on to Thomas. You're up next, and there is one that you've definitely won. I think if we're doing a top 10, you've definitely hit the number one. So we'll get to that last. But this was another book pick.
Yeah, this is a journal. It's a journal, a logbook. So it's a logbook for writing all the things about your watches in it. It's so you can take photographs and put your photos of your watches in it. It's you can write about the service history. You can put your receipts and stuff about it. All the geeky stuff about your watches, your serial numbers, your service history, your photographs about the watches, just general stuff about your watches. But it depends how big your watch collection is going to be. I mean, if you like Pete and you've got 70 watches, you're going to need quite a few copies of this. So
yeah, you're going to need at least 2, aren't you?
Yeah. So, but if you got a smaller collection, you can be happy just writing down all the little details about your watches and your service history, etc. So it's called Yes, I Really Do Need All These Watches. Funnily enough.
And yes, I'd strongly suggest that your relationship's pretty solid before you start writing.
I was going to say that is definitely evidence in a divorce case.
Yeah, that's definitely evidence in a divorce case.
Yeah. When you've got to split everything 50-50.
No, that's just cause.
Yeah, that's the reason for the divorce.
That's the reason for the divorce. I found this. My husband is terrible. I found this.
And then she knows exactly how many watches she gets in the settlement.
Yeah. And what the expensive ones were too. Yeah.
And she can also prove you've been a habitual liar because every watch you ever bought cost $150.
Although I did get caught buying the Ploprof, so I'm still not entirely out of the woods on that one.
I mean, to be fair, that's not the most subtle of watches to try and wear and go, oh yeah, I've had this for years.
Yeah, she saw me walk in the door with it, so kind of tricky.
No, she heard you walk in the door with it.
Cool. Okay, next one up was one of my picks. And this little thing, if you know anybody with a Seiko watch that has the silly 2-position micro adjust clasp on, Uncle Seiko makes, or Uncle Straps, I should say now, makes a 3-position one, a whole extra position of micro adjustment. And I've bought this several times for my Seiko watches because that one extra position, for some reason, for my wrists, it just works perfectly. So if you've got one of these Seiko 2-position clasps for the sum of $12, which I actually think it also, perhaps there's some postage on that as well, but for around the $20 mark, this is awesome. Absolutely awesome that he makes this.
Their stuff's really good, actually. They do some cool little things.
Yes, yeah, he does. He makes one of my favorite bracelets ever, which I think I've talked about this so many times on the channel. But this is this razor wire is just awesome. It's like one of my favorite ones. Also, it's like a metal puzzle to adjust it, so you get a little bit of entertainment out of it as well. Because all of these sections are all individual metal pieces, but it's like the most comfortable comfortable bracelet, metal strap out there.
Cool.
So there you go. Yeah, that's another little plug there. Okay, so a background to Mark again with the iPhone photography. This is
Oh, okay, these are great. So when you're locked out of the A. Langer and Sona boutique because you don't have an appointment and are a scruffy peasant, and you want to take a picture of the watches through their window, reflections can get in your way. So put on a lens hood, a nice soft squishy lens hood. Stops glare and reflections, allows you to lean against display cases and take photographs. Should fit multiple phones. I saw Miss Ale from Scottish Watches had one, and it made such a big difference to watch photography. I was amazed. So again, it's another cheap little thing that you can buy, but if you're out and about and you see something, or if you're at a watch show where they have watches in cases and you want a better photograph, clip it to your phone. It's soft, it's silicone, will make a big difference to the quality of the photographs you get. So another simple idea.
Mark, I kind of feel like you might be asked to leave if people see you out their window with that like right on the window.
Yeah, but I couldn't put sneakers or trainers for running away from security guards in the list. I honestly couldn't.
So this heartwarming Christmas tale, is this a true tale that you got kicked out of A. Lang & Son?
We actually managed to sneak into a Langer boutique because it was like Thursday morning at 10 o'clock and there was nobody else there and the staff were bored. But, Langer are going, at least in the US, for boutique only, appointment only, as I understand it. So, the chance of you just wandering up and looking at the glass suit of goodness is kind of tough. So, yeah, and I just use that as a silly example. But if you're at a watch show, like Watch Time, certainly where a lot of things are in cases, then that'll help.
Yeah, absolutely. I sometimes put my hand over the phone, but
that's another way of doing it. But
but that's a better idea.
Yeah,
Junior Johnson had a good idea. A loom, a flashlight. Yeah, UV flashlight. That's what I use for doing my watch.
I've got one on my desk somewhere.
Yeah. It's really, you can't really see the blue, but yeah, this works really well to do the loom on your watches. And this wasn't very expensive. It's rechargeable as well. It's like a USB-C. I'll add all of these to the description with affiliate links, of course.
I sent you a link, Sam. Actually, you just reminded me with what was Uncle Seiko. If you're into your Citizens, this is a dirty little secret I found years ago. Loads of the Citizen watches have got proprietary fitted straps, and you can't fit normal straps to them. These guys specialize in making machined adapters that you can use in most of the premium Citizen divers and eco drives that allow you to convert it to use good quality normal straps, and the quality of the stuff is unbelievably good.
Yeah,
they do like ring back adapters, NATO adapters, they do bracelets. It's not super cheap, but their stuff is absolutely amazing. And if any of you know, like the high-end divers, they do usually have to undo the ring in the back, and the rubber strap's molded and slides into the watch case. These, you can slide the adapters in place and then use a normal 22 mil rubber strap and such like with them as well. And they make them in titanium and steel to match the case shapes and stuff like that. So their stuff is absolutely amazing, and it's all proprietary to each different model.
What's the brand called, Dave?
Supper Parts. It's SUPPA Parts. Supper Parts.
Supper Parts, right.
And you see at the top there, you've got all the different models. And they're all just they're super well made.
Yeah, this is really cool because that EcoZilla I know on the for the Citizen.
Yeah, like the big Eco Zillas, the big kind of all the Zilla family stuff. The big divers. They're really good stuff. And as I say, like they are perfectly matched. So like they use that. I can't remember what they call it, but the Citizen have got their hardened titanium that's got the coating on it. The Super Bright or whatever they call it. Their stuff's all matched to that as well, so you would never know it was aftermarket.
Yeah, that's really cool. I actually spoke with the Citizen Boutique on this week because they were showing me some of the stuff that's coming out next year. There's some amazing Citizen's like a brand to watch next year. They're bringing out some really cool stuff. I can't say because I was under embargo, but okay, Colby, we might be back round to you. I forgot where I'm up to. Did you have another pick?
Yeah, I'll say a wall clock. I think a wall clock's a solid gift. I have a Snoopy, a Speedmaster Snoopy one myself. You can basically get any well-known watch dial on a clock. And they're usually between $100 and $200. That's what I've seen them for on eBay. And
isn't it weird? I mean, the brands don't make these, do they? These are aftermarket.
Right.
There is a couple of brands now doing clocks, like Anardane Pollen. Pollen have got a range of wall clocks now. They're doing themselves. I think Mondane Isotope, I think, have just brought out some wall clocks as well.
Isotope did,
Yeah, they've got a few. And actually, quite a lot of the brands do them, but they don't sell them. They use them as kind of like either shop fit stuff or they use them as gifting. I know Moser, for example, do a Streamliner wall clock, like a big wall clock. Omega have got a few genuine ones as well, but trying to get them is like trying to get blood out of stone.
I bought an authorized dealer Panerai one.
They're massive. Those Panerai ones, aren't they?
Yeah, it's quite a big one. It's just nice to have the really illegible.
And one of the coolest ones you can usually get if you get friendly with anyone at a G-Shock boutique. They do the big square, so the big 5600 square. They do a wall clock, but it's cool because the buttons on it work, and it works exactly the same because it uses an actual genuine. It uses a genuine module in it, and the buttons work, and the backlight works, and everything. It's super cool, and it is kind of literally twice the size of your head. It's a cracker.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And of course, if you want the big wall clock, go get a Swatch Maxi. Yeah,
the Maxi. Yeah, and if you're on the B list of friends with G-Shock, they send you a pin badge. Well, actually, Lucy over at Paulin sent me a couple of watches to review, and this is a cork. They come in this cork box. It's like the coolest thing ever. Yeah. And this little clip kind of clips it on.
Nice.
And Sam, that those badges, they also do a version that actually works as well.
No, they don't. I don't think.
They do. They do it. They do one. Because the ring watch comes out next week in the US and in the UK. They've actually got the G-Shock ring watch coming out next week.
Yeah, I talked about it in my last G-Shock review. They very kindly sent me. They sent me some sample watches, but they sent this in as a little Christmas treat. So cool. That was a great. Thank you, Colby. Wall clock. Great idea. Great idea there. I'm actually going to go to the. I am just reviewing this at the moment. This would be if you really like somebody. This is a alarm clock. So I'm actually reviewing it at the moment. This is from, I'm going to say Beige and Sona. I probably pronounced that wrong. It's a Swedish company. This one that I'm reviewing is $580. So real high quality alarm clock, quartz powered. So if you really like somebody and want them on your Christmas list, or if you want a really nice alarm clock yourself, then I would definitely try it out. It's like leather and the CNC machine. It's really got some nice weight to it, so there'll be a review coming out this week. So I'll have to plug that a little bit. There you go. May contain product placement.
You don't want a dinky alarm clock?
A travel clock? How dinky travel clock?
Good value, apparently. Very good value.
Yeah, very. And this, yeah, I mean, this is a steal in comparison to the travel clock, isn't it?
Yeah, tell you the alarm clock that I saw randomly, not a watch company, Nintendo. You can only buy it if you're part of the Nintendo thing, but they've brought an alarm clock out called the Alarmo, and all the alarm signals are like classic Nintendo game sound effects. It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's like $100. It's $100, I think, and it's called the Nintendo Alarmo.
Oh, Dave, this is a great pick. Look
Exactly, it's a winner. Look at that.
Oh, so Mario
It's
actually
like
animates on there.
and it is an actual mushroom, so you whack the head of it when you want it to go off. It's so good.
Look at that. So it's got different. It's got a Zelda animations. Oh, look at that. It's a winner. Oh, that's really cool.
I think it comes out in January, so it's a late Christmas gift.
Late Christmas present. Oh, that's a great pick. Okay, and then let me just go to Thomas. I won't do the one that you won. Let me just go to your other one, which was here we go. Here we go. This is a toolkit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us have a basic toolkits. I mean, one tool I would say definitely get is a strip clamp to alter the size of your bracelets. And rather than a pin and a hammer to take the links out of your bracelets, the strip clamp.
I didn't know that existed. I used just the little twisty thing. I have got one of those for olives.
But yeah, you can. I mean, if you want to spend quite a bit of money, build your own tools, like Dave pointed out with the winder, the benchmark of watch tools, and yeah, you can get yourself the top of the range pack of all the screwdrivers, the spring bar removal tools, the case back and the unwinders, the pliers, all different screwdrivers, everything for about it's about 200 quid. So
that's not a bad deal, is it? That 206 considering.
I actually think, I know lots of folk will probably be like, that's a lot of money. And sure, a couple $100 for a toolkit's a lot of money. But I would always say at the end of the day, you're playing with multi-1,000-pound or more watches.
Yeah.
And how many of us, and we're all guilty of it, I'll just buy the cheap one, and then you start smacking your watch about with a tool that costs £3 off Amazon. And you just think to yourself, actually, maybe it's worth spending a couple £100 in a toolkit eventually.
Yeah, especially like the screwdrivers where the tip starts revolving in the screwdriver because they're not properly tightened together.
Or you rip the head off it and then chew the screw to bits and then spend about £7,000 get the watchman to repair it for you.
Yeah, and it comes in an Invicta case as well, Thomas. You've hit two birds with one stone there.
That case is definitely got vibes of a drill somewhere, hasn't it? That's definitely a repurposed drill case.
Yes, yeah.
Well, if you put Black & Decker on it, your other half would think it's something for the house, and you could get away with it.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, probably similar to Dave's loop idea. This is a Timegrapher. Now, this is whether you want to know how well your mechanical watches are performing or not. But I've had 3 of these because I keep selling them and then buying them again because I'm like, I do want to know, and I'm like, I don't want to know. Is it ruining it for me knowing, or do I want to know? So I keep going back and forth. So I bought like 3 of these in the past. But does anybody else have Dave? You must have a Timegrapher.
Yes, but I also suggest if anyone buys one of these, to buy themselves a book and learn how to use it before they actually plug it in.
Yeah,
just a bit of advice, because there's so many parameters and settings that you should be setting on it. And also, don't let it lull you into a false sense of security, because people will often buy these, then they'll use it in some form and then try to claim that their watch is out of specification when they're not actually doing a like for like test. But it's good as a reference for sure, if you know how you're using it properly and if you get all the proper lift angles and such like for your movement. But just be aware of what you're doing with it before you actually start professing to be competent at its use, shall we say.
Moving swiftly on. in fact, who doesn't have one? Does everybody on the panel have one of these?
No, I don't.
I have one.
I don't.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
Yeah.
so 3. Yeah, it's they're interesting, aren't they? They are interesting. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're coming back round. Mark, did you have one more pick? Let me check. You did that one. You did. Oh, okay. You were back on the phones. We're still on the.
Like I said, I was consistently boring, but now there are macro lenses for your iPhone. This is one I found. I would suggest you search on your own because I have no idea whether this one is a good one. And I think the other idea I had is probably more generally useful, which is the small tripod for your iPhone.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll get to that. But again, if you've got some way of securing your camera, your phone, and you want to get closer to, to do macro photography without buying 105mm f2.8 Nikon or Sony or whatever, or a set of extension tubes, a macro lens you may find useful. I think it's tricky to find one that is weak enough for lens photography, but you should find one. Like I say, I haven't used this one myself, so I can't really recommend, I can't say it's great, but the idea is there. So if you want to do macro photography and you don't want to use the zoom and you don't want to lose pixels because it's an electronic zoom, blah, 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 try that. So if you do want to do watch photography at home, an iPhone is more than good enough if used carefully, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to make it a superb photographic instrument for web. I'm not sure I'd ever print anything 4 foot by 6 foot from an iPhone, but for screen and Instagram use, there are tools out there that can make your iPhone a really powerful watch photography tool, and they don't cost a lot.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit hurt if you don't make a YouTube channel called Consistently Boring. Let's Dave, one hot off the press.
This is one for Mark, actually. This is something now. I'll preface this by saying, Kickstarter, you may lose your money, as I have done in the past.
That's their
But
official
this-
tagline.
There we'll go. Yeah, but this thing, I bought one of their older ones. They've just brought this out. It goes onto your iPhone, Mark. 1,000x magnification on the camera, and they work amazingly well.
1,000x magnification.
That's a very high
Oh,
refractive
wow.
index lens on the front.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. But
Wow, you
I've
think
got one of their older versions. They've just launched this newest version of it as well. So if you really, really want to see how bad your watch is, this will tell you exactly how bad it is.
Wow, this is incredible. That you could see like Iron Man in the the quantum realm with it.
Yeah, and it's not
Oh.
insanely expensive. It's like $40, something like that. I think it is something around that
Really?
neck of the woods.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it literally
It's
just,
yeah, you
that's
just it's kind of it goes onto the lens. They've been doing them for a few years actually. I got one of the early ones, and they're amazingly good.
Yeah, interesting.
that
Yeah,
is
so-
incredible.
As I say, I'm not going to guarantee you that it'll thing, but the company's got a good track record and they have delivered in the past, so you can get some pretty cool stuff out of it. It's really good if you look at things like like the case material. You can look at the granular structure of the cases and all that kind of stuff. It's really good.
Wow.
Wow.
And I
mean,
think, there are different ones around, but certainly that's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be interested to look at the link where you put for that one, Sam.
Yeah,
And in the comment, Von Krul has a good suggestion for an ultrasonic cleaner.
yeah, I use an ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, this is a good one for your bracelets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't put the head
Yep.
of the watch in, but for your bracelets.
Yeah, great for bracelets.
Yeah. It's amazing,
also-
isn't it? Once how much stuff actually comes off the bracelet once you put in there. You think, oh, it's not that
Yeah.
dirty, and then you put it in there, and it's like, oh, it's like sludge.
You find out how unclean you actually are.
Yeah, all the skin cells. That is actually a really good pick, Von.
Yeah,
Krul.
that is Von Krul. Really good
This is
idea.
perfect. It's a great addition to go with that little microscope. You can then inspect the water to see what your skin cells actually look like.
Yeah. Oh, Cool. Okay, well, next, kind of doing the rounds here. Colby, did you have another one before I move on? Or
Well, yeah, I'll do one, and I'm not doing your channel any favors with this one, but it's free, and I think it's really well done. I think you could get somebody a subscription to Loop Magazine, which is the magazine that Christopher Ward puts out.
Hey, if somebody's going to show Christopher Ward, it's going to be me on my own show. It is actually. They actually.
It's actually really well done. They have
it
general interest articles as well as previews for what's coming up in Christopher Ward.
Yeah.
And there's my favorite part of the whole magazine is at the very end, they always have a historical photo or some kind of historical fact about a historical figure who wore a certain watch. Like, you know, what kind of watch did JFK wear when he was sailing? That kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm teasing you here, but it is a good magazine.
It's really good. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's yeah.
So if you're a forum member, you can download Loop from the Christopher Ward archive as well. Because sometimes they don't show up, or the wife has been known to hide it before I get my hands on it. But you can also, which it has happened. But you can also, if you are a forum member, access the PDFs of the Loop magazine through the Christopher Ward archive too.
Yeah.
I like Robert Coleman's comment. What dirt has Christopher Ward got on everyone?
They've not got any on me. I bought an ultrasonic cleaner after Von Krug's recommendation.
Yeah, we need we'll have to get instead of a time graph, we'll have to get a lie detector.
Brilliant.
Awesome. Okay, let's go back round to did I have another one? I did the time grapher. Oh, I tell you what, I've got to do a little bit of a plug for my old friend McCullough at Man Cave Leather. He obviously makes great leather straps as well, but he also makes these card wallets. They're really cool. You can fit a couple of cards in them. But what my wife borrowed this from me, shall I say, when I first got it. McCullough kindly sent me one just to ask me what I thought of it. And this thing is like, it went through the washing machine and the dryer. It's been lost in the car multiple times. It gets lost everywhere. It's covered in because she wears a suntan cream for work and stuff like that. Whatever leather is used, it's practically indestructible on this. So if you're looking for a cool leather watch wallet, check them out. $70, worth absolutely every penny on there. So that was really. I think I gave away one for a competition as well, and I've actually got some stuff to give away a competition. We're going to do a bumper Christmas show. And I've got a few watches knocking around and stuff like that I'm going to be giving away. So a little plug there. Okay,
I've thought of another one. See, if anyone gets asked by a relative, what do you want? And they know you're into watches, you know what it's like. Don't buy me stuff because you always like your own stuff. Get them to buy one of the subscriptions to one of the kind of behind a paywall newsletters, because as a general rule, you might not always agree with what they say, but the content's usually really good. And actually, I'm not recommending any specific ones, but generally they do it that way so that they can stay, I guess, free of any influence. And actually, they're pretty interesting reading some of the time. Like, sometimes gets your temperature up, but it's a pretty fail-safe thing. If someone gets you something like that, that's maybe a good idea.
And you could also have a subscription to Oracle Time if you're in the UK, or Watch Time in the US. So a subscription's a great idea, Dave. Yeah.
Or if
and you know what? See with these.
Sorry, Dave.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, or if you're in the UK, become a member of the Alliance of British Watch and Clock Makers.
Yeah. Any of these kind of things, because they definitely help people, and it's like always good to have a bit of a diversity of coverage and stuff like that.
Cool. And then Mark, you had one last pick, and then we've got to get to Thomas's one, which I think is the winner. But let's go. One last pick, Mark. You're consistent, if anything.
Well, yeah, and pedantic and boring too. But
one commenter said that last week.
A small tripod for holding your phone. It's the last step. There's a Nikon scholar who says you should spend the most money on your tripod. Your stabilization system is what counts. and
Mhm.
he's right. And if you're using a phone or an Android or whatever, just find something that holds it steady. Your life will be so much easier. You know,
Yeah.
and for $150, you can step up your photography immensely. You know, you already have the phone. Now you just step it up, and
Mhm.
you will see the difference really quickly. And you know,
Yeah.
personally, I
Yeah.
would start with the tripod.
Yeah.
Tripod and foam core. Start with that.
Yeah.
And if you like doing a bit of photography and video, I think I noticed it recently. DJI do the gimbal for the phone gimbal, and
Mm.
it's normally about $150, but I'm sure I've seen them recently for about 70 or 80. And it's also got tripod feet, so it acts as a little gimbal tripod as well if you're using it for photography, and you can remote shoot from it. So it's a wee bit more expensive, but if you like doing video stuff as well and just generally using it, I think it's like the 4 it's called, DJI Mobile 6, is it? Maybe it's that one, Mobile
Yeah.
6. Yeah, there you go, in
Yeah.
$90 at the moment. But that thing's got a little tripod adapter on the bottom that allows it to just sit upright. It's an absolute cracker. It's like I was
That's a great
amazed how good it is, and you can control it and everything. It's battery in the handle, all shooting match. It's a great bit of kit for $90.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was actually a colleague at work. I was talking. She wanted to start a shopping YouTube channel.
Yeah.
She's like, "What should I get?" I'm like, "Gimbal." If you're walking
Yeah.
around a shop or anything like that, a gimbal. And the good thing with this as well is if you're using your iPhone to record on, like most of the new iPhones with the USB-C on them, you can actually put a USB-C solid state disk drive straight into it, and it will
Well,
record straight onto the
you're
drive.
right, Sam, and that actually reminds me. See if you stick into Amazon, Lexar iPhone hard drive. I did it on Kickstarter with Lexar of all companies, but they've just released them generally to the public. It's a tiny hard drive. That's this one here. See the first one? That one there. Click on that. It's got a wee adapter. It clicks on the back of your phone, and it is unbelievable. And it's a 2 terabyte hard drive that will record high resolution
Wow.
photography and video straight onto the hard drive.
Yeah. And then you
It's a
just
wee bit
plug it straight
expensive,
into the
but
back
it's
of your...
amazing. And you just whack it straight into your computer. And it's got a wee adapter kit that it goes on the back. You can see it there. It's super compact.
Yeah, because
That's
that's the
awesome.
cool thing, especially if you're doing if you hit that ProRes on your iPhone, there's you're going to
Yeah.
get like 10 seconds on the actual hard drive. That's unless you've got one of the 1 terabyte versions.
Yeah, but that's I was amazed how good quality that was. And just if you like to do a bit of video, if you're going to a show or you're going to an event and you just want to bosh it straight onto that and not worry about it, and then when you're going out at night, you can leave it safe in the hotel. It's a banger.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great pick.
idea. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Any final thoughts? Like Thomas, I think we've got one more from you, which I think is the winner. But any final ones we didn't cover? No.
I
Awesome.
think so.
Okay, Thomas,
Yeah.
this was absolutely awesome. This one, it's affordable. It speaks to a watch collector's heart. I thought it was just awesome, and this is your Mr. Men cup. Or was this one from Pete, or was this you?
No, this is me. Yeah, Mrs. Too Many Watches. Yeah,
so good.
That's a winner. That's a winner.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Mr. Men. Was Mr. Men just a purely British thing, or was it?
I think that's a pretty British thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
No idea why this is funny.
They're like children's books. They're like little square 10-page children's books that you would basically learn how to read, and there was all the different Mr. Men. I think it's still a thing. It must still be a thing, surely.
Yeah. And they each had character traits, didn't they? So it was a story. It's like they were sort of like moral stories, weren't they?
Mr. Grumpy,
Yeah.
Mr. Grumpy, Mrs. Nice, blah blah blah. Yeah, it was always really good.
So they were like sort of like heartwarming stories around. So this just fits perfectly, which was a great pick. But before we leave, Mark, I'm sure everybody wants to know. You're in New Jersey. How many drones are currently flying over your house?
I did see the 2 that actually seem to be real, but we haven't seen them recently. So, and before we go, if you've liked our suggestions, please upvote.
Yes.
Yeah.
And subscribe, like and subscribe.
Give Sam a Christmas present. Please upvote.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark, for Yeah, thank you for that. And thanks everyone for all the great suggestions. Sorry we didn't get to all of your comments, but we really appreciate watching. A big thanks to the panel. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time on Casual Watch Talk Sunday Social. Bye everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Everyone.